This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
It is Friday Football Frenzy. It is loud here at Cecina High School, where the Crusaders are getting ready to take on the Roncalli Rebels tonight.
Oh, yeah, we are live at Cecina. That's what you heard there. I think you heard that, but they're having a great time. Plus, we're taking a look at a unique programs helping students get ready for life after the classroom. This morning, we're headed to Henry County to Newcastle to see how students are being prepared for jobs in facilities management. A lot of fun there, as well as kids get ready for the future. Good morning on this Friday, September the 20th. I'm Rafael Sanchez, sitting in for the popular and amazing Lauren Casey and baby Archie. Yes.
And I'm Meredith Barrick.
Oh, family.
And I'm Meredith Barrick, and I'm just here. and
I'm Todd Clausen.
Yeah, and he's going to do the weather.
And I finally got some rain chances in this
thank
forecast,
goodness.
right?
I've been feeling so bad for you this past week.
I was telling them, I'm like, I'm just happy I got something to talk about today, right? Finally, we have some rain chances in the forecast. They're not great today, I'll tell you that, which I guess is good news since it's Friday and there's a lot of activities going on. But better rain chances the second half of the weekend. 10 to 20% chance. That's nothing more than an isolated downpour or two. That could happen as we work our way into the latter half of the day today. Here's the view outside right now. And your morning commute is going to be a nice one all across the area. Temperature is very comfortable right now. We're sitting right in the 60s for most of us, 69 officially in Indianapolis. And you do notice there's a little bit of cloud cover and just to our north. And that's going to be a trend throughout the day today. You'll notice a little more clouds as the day progresses. And then there's the rain that you see in Illinois. A lot of that initially is going to fade away, but I do think there will be the opportunity again later on this afternoon for an isolated downpour. Do not worry about it though. This morning, as you get going from the 60s at 8 a.m. to 80 degrees by the noon hour. We'll talk more about the rest of the day coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. We're taking a live look right now at I-70 at West Street. Traffic moving along just fine in that area. No issues to report for your Friday morning commute.
Now at 6:02, an update for breaking news this morning on the south side of Indianapolis. And just over an hour ago, police were called to a home on Gimber Street. This is between Bluff Road and South Meridian Street. And they were told there were people possibly breaking into vehicles in that area. When officers arrived, they say two people ran into a home, and police were told by witnesses that they thought they may have had weapons. Police are now clearing the scene and say no one was hurt in the standoff. Officers are questioning the people inside the home. No arrests have been made at this time. We will continue to monitor this developing story there on the city's south side.
Police say one person is dead after a shooting on the city's east side. Officers were called to Carlisle Place just north of East Michigan Road around 11 last night for reports of gunshots. When they arrived, they found a man in the alley suffering from at least one gunshot wound. He was pronounced dead at the scene. At this hour, Metro Police tell us they are still searching for a suspect. If you were in the area at the time of the shooting and witnessed anything, please call Crime Stoppers. We're also following breaking news as a man is expected to survive after being shot at a West Side apartment complex. Officers were called to Heather Ridge Drive just east of 34th and Dandy Trail around 12:30 this morning. Police tell RTV6 that man was shot in the leg. Police have not yet said if they are looking for a suspect. Now, this overnight gun violence comes at a time when community advocates and city leaders are struggling to find a solution to the problem.
So the group Faith in Indiana hosted a town hall with Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett's office. The purpose behind the looking for ways to reduce gun violence and prevent the behaviors that lead to that. The group hopes the mayor implements a gun violence intervention program, which they say is used in other cities to reduce crimes, including homicides. Desiree Luster is one of the many people hoping the city comes up with a solution. Now, she became a member of Faith in Indiana after her cousin was shot and killed on the city's east side.
You move here, because I have family here, but you move here and kind of to be bombarded with that kind of violence. It's very interesting. It's not encouraging to come or even to stay. And so that says a lot about we want to attract people to Indiana because it is a very nice place despite what's going on.
Right now, the city's Office of Public Health and Safety is looking to hire 2 new peacemakers. They work with law enforcement and the community to connect at-risk young people with resources and mentorships.
Authorities have identified the person whose body was found in a wooded area in Morgan County. Investigators say 23-year-old Alexander Dashiell Jackson of Indianapolis died of a gunshot wound. The coroner has ruled the death a homicide. Jackson's body was found by a woman walking her dogs near County Road 1100 North and Man Road near Waverly last Friday. Jackson was wearing white canvas Converse shoes and an orange t-shirt like the one you see on your screen. Investigators are asking for the public's help. If you know anything that could help move this investigation forward, please call Crime Stoppers.
A court hearing is now scheduled for Tuesday for the Central Indiana man accused of abandoning his daughter and then moving to Canada. A hearing for the woman charged in the case has not been set, according to online court documents. Christine and Michael Barnett face neglect charges. Christine turned herself into police on Thursday. Michael on Wednesday. Police say after adopting the girl from the Ukraine in 2010, the couple changed her legal age from 8 to 22. Then in 2013, they rented her an apartment in Lafayette and never spoke to her again. Both Barnetts are out on bond from the Tippecanoe County Jail.
The Carmel Clay Parks Department tells RTV6 crews will check out splash pads after 2 mothers shared concerns about conditions. Erica Perrin and Sarah Trostel say their children fell at different water park splash pads at West Park and the Monon Center Park. Perrin's son fell 2 years ago and was diagnosed with a concussion. She thinks some sort of substance growing on the concrete might have caused the fall. 2 years later, Trostel's daughter slipped and fell on what she believes to be a similar-looking algae. Both moms say they don't want other children to get hurt.
We love Carmel, we love the parks, but this issue just needs to be addressed. It's a safety issue.
It's to be expected that when they play, we're hopefully coming to something, especially a city-provided park, that it's going to be a safe experience for families, and you don't want other kids falling.
Carmel Clay Parks tells RTV6 its aquatic facility operators complete daily inspections of splash pads and have a routine cleaning schedule to address any buildup that could cause slick conditions. The department says it takes all reports of safety concerns seriously.
It is now time for our Hiring Hoosiers, where we connect you with programs and jobs. Do you remember the time when parents would tell you, clean your room? I think every time my mom still visits, she goes, clean your room.
I was just about to say that. I still hear that often. Well, that is child's play for a group of kids at the Newcastle Career Center. Our Aaron Lish is at one of the largest high school gyms in the country. And Aaron, these students are the ones that keep that mega place looking spick and span.
It's I've seen them do this themselves, and they're doing this in their fitness maintenance program. And what they do is they help clean not only the
Well, it is so big
in the
Raphael,
different buildings.
It sounds
So
like we are losing our connection with Aaron. We are going to check in with her in a moment, but we're going to get to Alyssa Donovan first while they figure out that technical difficulty.
Big major facility there in Henry County. So of course today is Friday. It is Friday Football Wednesday.
So we are going from the basketball court to the football field, and that is where we find our Alyssa Donovan. She is live at Cecina High School. What are the Crusaders up to this morning, Alyssa?
Loud and proud.
Oh, she's at the basketball court. She fooled us.
There they go. They're doing a relay race right now. They just finished. Hilarious. They're dressed in these big bubbles going back and forth. So much fun. Look at this crowd. Cecina is killing it this morning. They are so pumped tonight. They are playing Roncalli, and I'm told that this is the first time in 25 years that they are expecting to win against Roncalli. Their team is awesome this year. They have not lost a game yet. On the other hand, Roncalli's had a tough season so far. You can see they are so excited for tonight. What are you guys excited about? We're gonna beat win! We're coming for you, Roncalli! All right, you guys are about to beat Roncalli. What are you excited about for tonight?
Oh, I'm excited to win. I'm excited to see everybody dressed up in their hippie uniforms. Everything, the theme is gonna be great. We're gonna win!
It's gonna be an awesome game. They're playing against a team that they have not beat yet, but they are planning to beat them this year. And it is the last time they're going to play Roncalli, so it's going to be a great game, and they're planning on winning. Don't stop! morning. They're playing some games. We have the band here. We've got the cheerleaders here. The whole football team is here as well. We are having so much fun, and they are really going to bring the energy tonight. They have a great crowd behind them as they get ready to take on the Roncalli Rebels tonight. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, thank you, Alyssa. And the weather looks good for all those high school football games later on this evening. Just a very, very small chance of maybe an isolated thunderstorm, but certainly do not bank on it. So here's your commute forecast for this morning. As you're heading to work, you're looking at mainly clear skies. Temperature is 68 degrees. No weather-related issues. You should be just fine heading home as well, with skies that'll be partly cloudy and a temperature right around 86 degrees. So we do finally have some rain on the radar to show you. It's just across the state line here in Illinois. Some rain from Champaign over towards Peoria. A lot is going to fall apart as it makes its way towards the state, but western locations and northern locations, I think you will have the opportunity here this afternoon for maybe just a stray shower or storm. It is nothing more than that. 99% of us remain completely dry today, with temperatures that will be climbing up into the mid-80s once again, putting us well above normal. The cold front, though, that arrives on Sunday, bringing some needed rainfall and followed by cooler temperatures. More on that in your 7-day planning forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thank you. An Indianapolis woman is hoping to reel in a shark with her dream lure. After the break, we catch up with a woman who interviewed to appear on Shark Tank when it was here in the Circle City. We'll be right back.
Today.
Welcome back here to Good Morning Indiana. All right, we just saw Aaron Lish moments ago in Newcastle in one of the state's largest gymnasiums, and unfortunately, because it's so big, that caused us a few technical difficulties.
Little things, you know, but our Aaron Lish is standing by to give us more information on this exciting program, getting kids ready from classroom to career. Aaron, we can't wait to get all the details. Fill us in.
So this place is huge. You guys already mentioned that, but they clean this place from top to bottom. I've seen them do it here in their facility maintenance program. And what they do is they do routine care and all of that maintenance work here at the school grounds as well as throughout the community. And there's a bunch of different things that they focus on, but here they have advanced floor care, hotel care, kitchen assistance, and something else is they focus on those practices because they're using a variety of chemicals to process and clean all those different areas. And what's neat is this is an inclusive course, so students with special needs can also be a part of this. Instructors and the students say that this is setting them all up for a career in facility maintenance after graduation.
They go to school here and then they leave here and they work in the community. So, I think it's important that we do everything we can to kind of give them the skills they need and the opportunities to, to succeed.
I feel really accomplished. I feel like I'm actually doing something good that will help make this school look like it deserves to be here.
So students in this program can pursue careers in professional cleaning, housekeeping, and janitorial maintenance. And their instructor says that they can connect them to local businesses for internships, as well as get them set up for careers in this community. We're going to have a little bit more from those students in the next half hour. But for now, back to you in the studio.
Aaron, thank you so much. The time now, of course, it is now 6:15. Shark Tank premieres next week right here on RTV6. And you could see some local Hoosier entrepreneurs pitching their ideas to those sharks.
Yeah, our Amanda Starantino introduces us to a woman from Plainfield who hopes she can pull in a shark with her patented product, the Dreamfish Hook Lure.
I was like, wow, Shark Tank's going to be here.
Meredith Hughes was one of hundreds of Hoosiers hoping to reel in a catch at the Shark Tank open call at Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
When they were coming here, I thought, man, they're coming to Indianapolis. I was just so thrilled.
With a few weeks' notice, this 72-year-old was ready to jump into the tank.
Those 3 weeks, I was just like, you know.
Meredith's product is the Dreamfish Hook Lure. Although she is the one creating it, she says the idea came from someone else, her dad.
It was in 1998. And 2 months after he passed away, he woke me up in a dream. I got up and went to the table and drew that exactly as he told me.
She has fond memories of her father, a World War II veteran, Butler grad, and her favorite memory.
He was quite a fisherman. He took me fishing all the time. He was always talking about the worms, and he said if I could just figure out how to get a fish without them eating the worm and getting away, So that's where this dream came from.
The Indianapolis native grew up fishing with her family on Geist Reservoir.
They were all little alcoves and coves and everything, and there was nothing on them. So we'd switch from one to the other and fish from each one to find out which one had the best fish biting.
Her lure is specially designed to attract and keep the fish on the line in the ocean or fresh water. Meredith got a utility patent for it in 2006.
I had to find more brass football-shaped fishing heads. That is one of the key components of my father's dream and the lure, because it enables the lure to wobble more in the water.
Helping Meredith make her dream lure a reality are her sons, one a police officer, the other a machinist and welder. They work together as a family in his garage.
My oldest son, George, knew that I was going to audition for Shark Tank, and he said, well, Mom, if you don't make Shark Tank, we're still going to make it.
Meredith wants her products made in the USA and for part of her profits to go to clean water organizations.
What I would dream of happening is that, people would enjoy fishing with it, have good luck fishing with it, be proud their parts are all made in USA and there's no lead. This fishing lure is a Cadillac, I think, of fishing lures. It's just really, really dear to my heart.
The lure is not available on store shelves quite yet. She's hoping to save up for a little to help with their production.
And you can see if her Dreamfish hook lure made the cut from the open call Shark Tank hosted this summer, as you may recall, at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Tune in for the season premiere of Shark Tank next Sunday at 9 p.m. Where? Right here. Only right here on RTV6. And only on RTV6, the one and only Todd Clausen with your forecast at 6:19. Todd, a little rain in the forecast?
Yeah, we do have the chance of some spotty storms in the forecast today. The better rain chances are going to be during the day on Sunday. But with that said, we do need the rainfall. This is the drought monitor. It's put out every Thursday. So this was updated yesterday. And you notice there's a slither of moderate drought to the north near Lafayette and then up towards the Logansport area down towards Seymour. Not under the drought conditions yet officially here in Indianapolis, but it's very dry. You just have to drive around and see everybody's lawns starting to dry up. You notice the trees starting to drop some leaves, as well as they are getting a little distressed here with the lack of water. In fact, we've only had 1/100th of an inch of rain so far this month officially at the airport in Indianapolis, almost 2 inches below average. But again, we will see some rain chances return to this forecast in the coming hours and in the coming days. This morning, though, you are just fine. Here's a live look from downtown off towards the north. 61 in Kokomo right now. 68's the current temperature in Indy. 64 in Bloomington. No weather-related issues for your Friday morning commute or as the kids head off to the bus stop. You just notice the clouds increasing a little bit here in northern locations. Here's the rain finally. Yesterday, this was up near Minneapolis. I told you it was slowly sinking to the south, and here it is now in central Illinois. It's going to weaken, though, as it makes its way here into central Indiana. So we're not banking on a lot in the way of rainfall throughout the day today. But certainly to the west and to the north, there will be the opportunity, especially once we get into the peak heating of the day, of a few isolated downpours to flare up. So don't be shocked if you see a quick downpour today, but most of us will probably remain dry. Unfortunately, we could use a good swath of rain moving across the state. That is not going to happen, though, here throughout the day today. As far as temperatures, once again, we are well above normal, as highs will quickly climb up into the mid-80s with the skies becoming partly cloudy. Should be right around 80 degrees at the noon hour, then 85 will be the high temperature this evening. If you have plans, including high school football, again, early on there could be an isolated downpour, but for the most part this evening, especially once the sun sets, we'll be in the 70s with partly cloudy skies. Your weekend forecast, Saturday is dry at 86 with a partly cloudy sky. Sunday, that's when we bring in the rain, 83 degrees, and I do know it's the Colts home opener. Many people heading to Lucas Oil Stadium. You should get there just fine. In fact, even after the game, you should be able to get home fairly dry. There will be that band of rain coming in, though, Sunday evening. This is the cold front going through. Here we are about 6, 7 o'clock in the evening, and this front will be slowly moving through, mainly after sunset. That's the good news. It's not going to wash out any of your Sunday plans at all. You'll just have to kind of tune into the forecast as we get into Sunday evening for those storms to approach. Some showers linger on Monday, but behind that front, also much cooler. High temperatures next week will be in the 70s with low temperatures in the 50s.
All right, Todd, thank you. A raccoon in Florida gets a little more than he bargains for. Ahead in our Trending 6, how long police say this fella's joyride lasted. That's coming up.
Ask your doctor about Taltz.
Before you head out the door, it's time for the Trending 6.
These are some of the stories that everyone is sharing online right now. So let's begin with...
It's Friday, and it's also Fried Rice Day, because it is its own holiday. It's got its own holiday today. Fried rice is made with a combination of rice, peas, carrots, onions, and eggs. Restaurant company Benihana founded National Fried Rice Day last year. It's also National Pepperoni Pizza Day today and National Queso Day.
Okay,
so
all things low fat and low
What, Todd?
Sold.
Todd is sold.
Well, he's buying lunch then. A sharp turn, get this, leads to a, quote, dicey situation on a Georgia highway. A truck carrying boxes of 6-sided dice was en route to a tabletop gaming company when it crashed. Now, that accident spilled about 216,000 dice, in case you were wondering. And by the way, for those of you who like math, the average roll of a two 6-sided dice is 7. The company estimates the driver may have rolled a perfect 756,000. Who knew?
That's too many numbers for this early in the morning. Well, dating sites are now banning profile pictures with those funny animal filters. The app Plenty of Fish is preventing users from posting filtered pictures. The new rules come after a survey reveals potential dates find it deceptive. Other dating apps have been banning things like mirror selfies in underwear and bathing suits. A majority of singles say they want someone to be honest online, then paint a different picture of themselves. And our own Todd Clausen also complaining for the duck face to be banned too.
Come on, Todd, you may like this though. This is called a slowfie. I'm ready for a slowfie. Apple is trying to trademark the word slowfie. That's the slow motion selfie featured on the iPhone 11. I'm ready. Apple applied for the U.S. trademark to potentially give them control over the word slowfie. And that means that Apple probably thinks it will become a new social media craze. The trademark application costs $400, so potentially a bargain if slowfie becomes the next selfie.
All right, we'll wait and see. A Navy dad in Florida making sure surprising his family was his #1 priority when returning home on leave. Senior Chief Michael Forgin is on a 2-week leave from Iraq, where he's been since April. When he arrived home, he surprised each of his 4 kids at their schools. Forgin will return to Iraq, but not before spending some much-needed time with his wife and kids. So very sweet.
And a raccoon in Southwest Florida going for a wild ride this week. The raccoon hopped on top of a Wonder Bread delivery truck. He was hungry. By the time the truck driver pulled over at a fast food restaurant, the raccoon had already hung on for 10 miles. Now, even with some persuading from police, how does that happen? The raccoon was too scared to come down, so he stayed on for an additional 6 miles back to the bread warehouse, where officials say he finally scurried away unharmed.
You mean they couldn't lure him off with a little Culver's concrete mixer or something, or their cheese curds?
Hey,
that would lure me.
He's like, I'm not walking those 6 miles home. He's like, I'm going to get a ride back. So, all right, outside right now, it's nice and mild. Temperatures are in the 60s, pretty comfortable. 80 degrees by the noon hour, on our way up to a high of 86. Rain chances, though, increasing. We'll talk about those rain chances and when they'll arrive over the course of the weekend coming up in the next half hour. Alyssa?
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now at 6:30, breaking news overnight, another shooting death on the city's east side. Just ahead, what we know so far about the gunfire and the victim.
The good news, the city is getting more money for roads. The not so good news, they should have been getting it all along. We are getting answers as to why that major mistake was made.
Football frenzy. We're here at Cecina High School, where the students are getting ready for the big game tonight. They are so excited. We'll have a lot more coming up.
Whenever I see these young children on a Friday morning like this, I wonder where they
Energy.
get that energy from.
It's like
Where is it from? What are you putting in your cereal?
Youth,
I guess.
and Mountain Dew.
I guess. All right. Well, thanks for joining us. I'm guessing you all aren't as up and at 'em as those students at Scecina are.
You're not excited? Like what?
I'm excited. I don't think people would watch us, though, if I screamed into my microphone every morning like that. Many people, though, just waking up and joining us, and we thank you for doing that. I'm Meredith Barrick.
I'm Rafael Sanchez in for Lauren Casey. We're looking at a weekend that may stop the heat and maybe a little rain.
Yeah, you know, so we've been talking about how we need rain here all week long, and we are going to get rain Sunday, but it's kind of late in the day, so I think weekend activities, and there's a lot that will be outdoors here, should be just fine. It's just kind of late Sunday, and then there's a small opportunity this afternoon for a few showers as well, but don't plan around those showers whatsoever. There's a live look from downtown to the north. You can kind of see it wasn't that crystal clear picture. There's a little bit of patchy fog here that's starting to develop again across the area. Visibility down to 1.25 miles in Bloomington. So it's a little worse here from Bloomington over towards Terre Haute than it is from downtown to the north. But just be aware that it's out there. That'll burn off very, very quickly as soon as the sun comes up. Hey, how about this? We got some rain on radar fairly close to Indiana. It's in central Illinois. A lot of this will fall apart as it makes its way towards the state. But I will expect an isolated thunderstorm or maybe shower to make its way into western locations once we get into the afternoon hours. But this morning you are just fine. Temperatures going from the 60s where we are right now up to 80 degrees by the noon hour. We'll talk about the forecast for those high school football games coming up in a little bit, but right now let's get an update on the roadways.
Well, Todd, all the roads are clear. We're also following breaking news this morning. We're still waiting to hear more about a brief SWAT situation that happened on the south side of Indianapolis. Police were called around 4 this morning to a home on Gimber Street. Now, that's between Bluff Road and South Meridian Street. They were told there were possibly people breaking into vehicles in that area. When officers arrived, they were also told that 2 people ran into a home, and witnesses say that those folks had some weapons. A SWAT unit soon cleared the home of multiple people, but they're still unsure whether the 2 suspects were among them. So far, no arrests have been made. No one was hurt. We'll continue to monitor this breaking and developing story from the city's south side.
We are also monitoring breaking news after police say a man is dead after a shooting on the city's east side. Officers were called to Carlisle Place just north of East Michigan Road around 11 last night for a report of shots fired. When they arrived, they found a man in an alley suffering from at least 1 gunshot wound. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Right now, Metro Police are still searching for a suspect. And a man is expected to survive after being shot at a West Side apartment complex. Officers were called to Heather Ridge Drive just east of 34th and Dandy Trail Road around 12:30 this morning. Police tell RTV6 that man was shot in the leg. He was taken to the hospital and is expected to survive. Police have not told us if they are looking for a suspect.
The time now is 6:34, and Call 6 Investigates is working to learn more about a federal investigation into the Muncie Police Department. Investigators this morning are reportedly looking into alleged police brutality, including the circumstances surrounding what happened in this body cam video. A suspect, Jesse Vernon, was injured in this incident last year. Prosecutors dropped the charges against him. Call 6 talked to the Muncie police chief a year ago about the Vernon case, and he told us then that federal investigators were looking at this video.
That's being looked at we were requested that by the Attorney General's office, along with a couple others. And so at this point, I can't really get into watching it and critiquing it, but I certainly don't have any problem answering some questions about it.
This morning, you can read more about that investigation by going to the RTV6 app and clicking on this story.
State Attorney General Curtis Hill will talk about the discovery of thousands of fetal remains at a home in Illinois today. The home belonged to an abortion doctor who operated clinics in Gary, South Bend, and Fort Wayne. 2,200 remains were found in Dr. Ulrich Klopfer's home after he died earlier this month. Yesterday, police in Illinois talked about the case for the very first time, saying they have not found any evidence that medical procedures happened at the home, and they don't know why the remains were stored there.
It's hard for us to speculate on that simply because it was from 17 to 19 years ago on what, and without being able to talk to him, obviously, because he's deceased, it's kind of tough for us to even speculate what his motivation was to bring him there.
The remains will soon be turned over to the Indiana Attorney General's office because Indiana is likely where those abortions were performed.
This morning, we're learning more about an accounting error that means Indianapolis will get more money for road repairs. We first told you about this issue earlier this week, and since then, we've learned the city is getting more funding than expected because the state had been using an outdated method for determining where the money went. That method did not account for changes within Indianapolis and Marion County. Indianapolis could get as much as 80% more funds than last year to fix roads and bridges. RTV6 asked the state auditor, how did this mistake happen?
I think what happened is we have a new administration in my office, we have a new administration in the city's office, and we have 30 years or more of history. And so, you know, every time you get a new administration change, people look at current law and apply it to the best of their ability.
Cities and towns across the state outside of Marion County will get about 8% less money from this situation. I want to scream it. I want to yell it. You know, when you fill in, you kind of miss the music, but I wanted to yell it and scream it. It is Friday Football Frenzy, but I'm going to keep calm this morning as Scecina High School, that's where we're going to be, where the Crusaders will take on the Roncalli Rebels.
And our Alyssa Donovan is getting to know the Crusaders this morning. Yeah, Alyssa, they've quieted down. There they are.
There they are.
All
the mics
right.
are on.
They had to save their voices for the football game tonight.
So much fun this morning. Yeah, yo, they're cheering still. Yeah. And I want to show you, we've got the cheerleaders here this morning. The cheerleaders are going to do some flips for us. Go for it, girl. There she goes. Awesome job. These students are so excited for tonight's game. I'm told this is a big deal. They're playing Roncalli tonight. They are hoping for a win. What are you guys ready for tonight?
We're just ready to get this dub. We're ready to get this dub. That's all I got to say. We're just ready to go. Get the dub, exactly what he said. We've been preparing all week for this, so we should be ready.
This game is a big deal.
We've been losing for like 20 years, so we should get this dub. We got to. We're ready to change history. We're ready to change it. It's our last year we're playing, so we got to.
Okay, all right. Well, good luck, you guys. I'm rooting for you. They are so pumped for tonight. Now, this team is doing great this year. So far, they have only been winners. They are undefeated, and they plan to continue that streak tonight. Last year and the year before, the team was awesome, too. They only lost 2 games both of those seasons, so they are bringing some of that talent back this year, and of course, they have an amazing crowd behind them. They've got an awesome band as well. Those cheerleaders are bringing it this morning. I'm told that the reason all those uniforms are mismatched is because they are doing a throwback theme for tonight's game. So they are actually wearing cheerleading uniforms from years past. How cool is that? Lots of energy this morning in this gym, and they are going to be bringing it tonight to that football field as well. I'm going to be cheering for Scecina. They gave me a t-shirt. I am a fan. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Alyssa, hopefully they carry that energy through the classroom and into the football game later on this evening. Speaking of the games, let's talk about that forecast first, and then we'll kind of work backwards throughout your day. 82 degrees as a lot of those games kick off later on this evening. Partly cloudy skies as a lot of those games wrap up. We're looking at a temperature right around 75 degrees. Obviously, before we get to this evening, we have to get through today, and that includes getting out the door and walking your favorite four-legged friend or featured dog of the day. Today is Augie, sent in by Shelly. She said Augie likes to watch it rain, and when the weather's nice, he sits in the window and he barks at the people walking by. So he'll be barking quite a bit today, because a lot of people should be out and about enjoying the nice weather. Green Paws from start to finish here throughout the day today. Temperatures starting in the 60s, ending in the mid-80s. There's just a very small chance of an isolated thunderstorm later on this afternoon. We'll talk about that in your weekend forecast as well, coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you so much. While we haven't been able to see any rain yet in central Indiana, what a different story in Texas. Coming up, the incredible amount of rainfall from Tropical Storm Imelda in that part of the country.
And we're taking a look at unique programs helping students get ready for life after the classroom. Up next, we head to Newcastle to see how students are getting prepared for jobs in facilities management. It's 6:41. We'll be right back.
Only at Ashley Home Store. This is home.
It is time now to talk about hiring Hoosiers. Cleaning isn't a chore for a group of students in Newcastle. It's actually something that they want as a career. Getting classrooms to career ready. We head to Newcastle this morning to find out more about what's happening there.
Yeah, and that's where we find our Aaron Lish. Aaron, you are in one of the largest high school gyms in the country, and there's a lot of cleaning to do in a space like that.
Yeah, and these students, they do it all. They keep this place in tip-top shape for the thousands of fans that come and sit here in the bleachers. And the great thing is they love what they're doing in this facility maintenance program.
Digging through the mulch, students make Newcastle Career Center look good, which makes them feel good.
I feel really accomplished. I feel like I'm actually doing something good that will help make this school look like it deserves to be here.
They experience the daily care in and outside of the buildings. Some students say they're unclear about their career path, but facility maintenance has sparked their interest.
Not yet. I'm still working on it, and I'm hoping this program will help me decide on what I want to do.
Instructors say this all-inclusive program is open to students with special needs.
You know, they're like everybody else. They want to be successful, they want to thrive, you know, and they want to go out and get a job someday like everyone else.
They work on advanced floor care, basic cleaning procedures, how to use sanitation and hazardous materials, as well as work in different facilities in the community.
They go to school here and then they leave here and they work in the community. So, you know, I think it's important that we do everything we can to kind of give them the skills they need and the opportunities to, to succeed.
As they sand the walls, clean the floors, and plant new landscape, they will take these skills and use them for future careers.
It's really satisfying to see hard work pay off, and it makes my life a little bit more fun and interesting.
And they've done a great job here with all of these students coming out and cleaning the ins and outs of this campus here. And some different career paths that they could do is they can be professional cleaners as well as housekeepers and janitorial maintenance. Back to you in the studio.
Aaron, thank you so much. At 6:45, parts of Texas are under a state of emergency due to the extensive flooding you see there caused by what was known as Tropical Storm Imelda. The National Weather Service says nearly 40 inches of rain has fallen in the Houston-Galveston area since that storm formed on Tuesday. The Houston County Sheriff's Office says they've responded to almost 1,000 related calls because of all the rain. Among those, more than 400 high water rescues there in the Lone Star State. What a large amount of water that can come from a tropical storm.
Well, it's just so heartbreaking to see those images because it happens so quickly that people, for example, like that elderly woman you see here, she probably didn't have time to react.
Did not have time.
Thankful for all those people stepping up and helping out their neighbors and community members, though, to make sure they do get to safety.
We are expecting some rain in central Indiana, but nothing like what we're seeing there in Texas, right, Todd?
Yeah, no flooding rains whatsoever. In fact, whatever rain we do get over the next few days is just going to get absorbed into the ground so quickly because it's been so dry across the area. So here are your rain chances going forward in the forecast. Today, it's about a 20% chance of just an isolated storm that'll flare up, and I'll show you on TrueCast the best locations in just a second. Tomorrow, it's a dry forecast. Sunday's the best rain chance at 40%. That's going to be during the second half of the day. So if you're heading to the Colts game Sunday for tailgating in the morning and then coming home, once we get towards the tail end of that game, some of the showers may be approaching, but I think tailgating will be just fine. Monday, those showers are before sunrise, so that shouldn't really impact you. So the timing of the rain actually works out well for us. And then Tuesday is a dry day. So here's the look right now on our satellite radar picture. You notice a little bit more in the way of cloud cover this morning, and overall there'll be a little more in the way of clouds compared to the past few days where we've been completely sunny, but overall it's a pretty decent day. And then here are some showers finally starting to approach the state. This is a 3-hour satellite radar loop, and you notice the showers and storms are kind of weakening a little bit. They're losing their punch. They're running into some drier air. So I don't expect a big cluster-like storms like this to come into central Indiana. It's going to be more some isolated storms that'll flare up during the peak heating of the day that we'll have to contend with mainly throughout the afternoon hours. So the further west and north you are, the better chance you'll have of seeing one of these isolated storms flare up. But I guess anywhere you could technically see it, it's just the better chances will be off to the west. If you do see it, won't be very long. And then as soon as the sun starts to set, a lot of these storms will fade away, which will be good news for all the high school football games out there this evening. The view from downtown to the north shows temperatures that are currently in the 60s all across the area. It's a mild start to our day. And even with the clouds that do increase today, we are going to see the temperatures climb into the mid-80s. So it's another very warm day for us with temperatures that'll be about 10 degrees above normal. Big show up at Ruoff tonight, the Outlaw Music Fest featuring Willie Nelson, Robert Plant, Alison Krauss, Brothers Osborne, and others. Temperatures in the 80s, falling into the 70s. You should be just fine. And then for the day tomorrow, it's a dry day, mostly sunny skies, temperatures into the 80s. And then once we get to Sunday, I mentioned the rain chances. It's a cold front coming through, 3:30. So here's the tail end of the Colts game. The rain will be approaching. The bulk of the rain, or the heaviest of the rain, though, will be from sunset and then eventually into early Monday. And hopefully we could at least maybe get a half an inch of rain out of this system as it works its way through. Behind that cold front, and once the rain comes to an end, cooler temperatures with highs that'll be in the 70s.
All right, Todd, thank you. We want to take a live look at our Traffic Now camera. This is I-465 at Madison Avenue. You can see the morning commute starting to pick up. It might look a little congested in this area, but that is just due to that I-465 closure. No issues to report right now.
While ending to last night's college football game between Tulane and Houston, the game tied with 18 seconds left. Tulane looks like it will take a lead to send the game into overtime, but instead they run a trick play that gets the ball into Houston territory. Then on the next play, they pull off a miracle.
8 back in coverage for Houston. McMillan launches down the middle for McCluskey, and he breaks free. Jalen McCluskey, touchdown! They take the lead with 3 seconds left.
That laugh you heard there, those ha-ha-has? Former Colts Pat McAfee, who was doing color commentary for ESPN last night. An incredible touchdown there as Tulane rallies from a 28-7 deficit to win, 38-31.
All right, well, let's see if we're going to see anything like that here in Central Indiana tonight, because it is our 5th week of Friday Football Frenzy.
And the teams are starting to show off how competitive they are this year. Our Alyssa Donovan is live with the Cecina Crusaders this morning, and tonight they will take on the Roncalli Rebels. Hey, Alyssa, can you hear us?
Hey, you guys. Yes, I can. Barely, because this crowd has been so loud this morning. We got the cheerleaders right now leading the crowd in a cheer. We've had the band going all morning. This crowd is awesome, and they are so excited for tonight's game. They are playing Roncalli Rebels, which I'm told is actually a pretty big deal. So they have not beaten Roncalli in about 20 years. They haven't beaten Roncalli in about 20 years, and tonight is the night that they do. This is the last time they're actually going to play Roncalli, and they are feeling good about it. This team is undefeated this season. They're coming off 2 great seasons before that as well, so they are feeling great tonight. On the other hand, Roncalli's had a rough start, so they're feeling like they are going to come home with a win tonight. And I do want to point out our girl. She is our push-up contest winner. She went up against a couple other girls and a couple guys, and she came home with that prize. So much fun this morning. They are going to have a great night tonight, especially if they bring this crowd along with them for that game. They're hoping for a win, and I'm supporting them. They gave me a t-shirt. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, Alyssa, thank you so much. We end our week with some good news just ahead on Good Morning Indiana, and we do it with an answer to that important question. Who is the fastest wiener dog in the Midwest? This has been keeping Rafael Sanchez up for weeks.
I want to investigate.
We'll let you know which one is the hot dog coming up.
And be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
Time to wrap up our week with stories that will put a smile on your face. It is Good News Friday time.
So this man was born only 6 years after his favorite baseball team, the Chicago White Sox, played their first game. C.W. Crawford has been a fan his whole life, but he had never had a chance to see his favorite team play. Well, this week, the White Sox finally made it happen. Mr. Crawford is 112 years young, and he had never seen his team in person, so some good people arranged for him to get a trip to the ballpark. Not only did he get to take in the game, he also got a custom jersey with number 112 on it, presented to him by the White Sox legend Harold Baines. Now that is awesome.
And this week, we told you about a sign held up by Carson King at the ESPN College Game Day in Ames, Iowa last weekend. It was the one where he solicited beer money and posted his Venmo account. Well, Carson ended up getting $20,000. He decided to donate the money to the University of Iowa's Children's Hospital. Now the donations to Carson's Venmo have spiked since this story started getting national attention. He is now up to more than $100,000. Busch Beer and Venmo are matching the donations as well. That means the Children's Hospital stands to get at least $350,000, probably some much needed money there.
So on Good Morning Indiana, Meredith, Lauren, and Todd are the tops, but we have this morning's top hot dog. The annual running of the Wieners happened on Thursday to the Open Oktoberfest in Cincinnati. 100 wiener dogs in hot dog costumes were part of the competition. And when it was all said and done, the winning wiener was 1-year-old Maple. Maple's owner, Jack Sanders, says he trained Maple for the race by having the dog chase Sanders' brother, who was a cross-country runner. Sanders also promises that Maple will be back to defend his title next year. There is the top dog in Cincinnati. The top dogs here in Indianapolis are to my right, and Lauren is back on Monday.
And I think they do a hot dog or a wiener dog run at the Rathskeller too. So we'll get our own local champion here as well. All right, here's a quick look at your forecast. Just the chance of a spot storm this afternoon. There was partly cloudy and a high of 86.
All right, we are back in 25 minutes and throughout Good Morning America with news, weather, and traffic updates.
Have a great weekend. Of course, we're always on the RTV6 app.